Congress is back in session. There are several big items on the agenda, including averting a potential government shutdown in 3 weeks. Join us now from Washington, House Ways and Means Chairman Jason Smith. It's important, I know, Mr. Chairman, avoiding the shutdown, but people's eyes glaze over at this point. We figure it's going to get done. Can we talk about what's wrong with the name OBBB? What's wrong with you want to rebrand it? It's like, remember the Inflation Reduction Act and the derision? To this day, people are laughing about what that supposedly meant when we hit 40-year highs in inflation. What's wrong with OBBB?
There's nothing wrong with it, Joe. You have people talking about a rebranding. We have said all along in the Ways and Means Committee, the committee that created all the tax policy, that this is a tax cut for working families, whether it's the small business deduction, whether it's the 199A, whether it's the child tax credits, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. The one big beautiful bill includes taxes, it includes border security, it includes national defense, it includes cutting reckless spending and welfare reform. So there's a lot of things to it. However, when it comes to the tax policies, we have been providing all of the tax relief that's been focused towards tax relief for working families.
Is there going to be a part two?
I think that's a great question. I feel like that we delivered everything that the president promised to the American people and that he campaigned on in this bill, whether it was no tax on tips, tax relief for seniors, no tax on overtime, incentivizing manufacturing in the United States. These are all things that he campaigned on that we delivered in this bill.
Do you want to talk about Fed independence and what we've been seeing? Some people are, I guess, troubled about a couple of things. It almost, and I'm not going to bring up that old the Russian expression that you find me a man and show me a man, I'll find you a crime, something like that. But it just seems a little bit weird that we're told that there are tips and oh no, we heard that a certain person was, had claimed a couple of primary mortgages. But when it's within an agency that the president has a major problem with in terms of not cutting rates, we've already seen a lot of his comments about Jay Powell and about the renovation and the cost overruns. And then you see maybe even a couple of Fed officials that almost look like someone was directed to look closely at some of their finances. Is that saying too much? Is that not true? It just looks that way?
Joe, there's several things to be concerned with, and that's why there needs to be some very strong oversight of a lot of the accusations, a lot of the actions. There's a lot of concerns. That area affects every single American. Interest rates affect every single American, and the actions within the Fed has a huge impact on every single American. So Congress has a duty to have aggressive oversight and review of them.
You almost sound like you don't want to be involved with a second or the writing of another reconciliation package. Do you think it would be too hard to get passed at this point with the midterms coming up? I mean, there are more cuts that a lot of Republicans would like, more rescissions that a lot would be proposing. Why do you seem like you're not thrilled about having to go through it again?
Joe, that's a great question. But if you recall, I was the first one advocating all along we needed one bill to deliver all the things. There was points that the Senate wanted 2 or 3. And the reason why I did that, Joe, is I said, if you look at history, never before in the history of America has there been 2 partisan reconciliation bills that have ever been signed into law in the same year. Why do we think we can defy those odds is beyond me. And we delivered everything that we promised within the one big, beautiful bill.
Jason, we should give you credit for that because there were so many doubters at the time. A lot of us were skeptical about whether you could actually pull that off, that huge bill, in such a way like that. You were the first one to talk about it, and you won out over the Senate's view on that. So, yeah, kudos on actually calling it out and saying that you could get it done.
Thank you. We set out a plan all along. I can remember setting with the president early in the spring, pointing out that we can get this on his desk by July 4th. And in fact, that's what we did. It wasn't easy by any means. I joke around and I tell folks that I feel like that I sold kids I don't have to my colleagues to get this passed.
So
but
did you spend all of your capital? Like that's it. You got this up and over, and now you owe everybody some way, shape, or form.
I hope to think I didn't, Becky, but I'll tell you, it was not easy. It was probably the largest, most difficult legislative feat that I've ever been a part of, but it was the largest tax cut in U.S. history. It was the largest spending cut in U.S. history. It was also the most significant welfare reforms in U.S. history. When you put that all into one bill, that's not easy, but we were able to get it through the finish line. It may have taken the vice president to be the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate, and we could only lose 2 people in the House, and we lost 2 people. We did it just by the very, very slim margins.
If the Supreme Court were to uphold that recent tariff ruling, are you ready to spearhead some tariff legislation that allows the president to keep the tariffs on?
So we've definitely been working with the administration hand in glove in all of the conversations with foreign governments, with tariffs. I myself have talked with more than 20 different countries in the last 2 months. If the courts do upset the apple cart, then we're going to have to respond accordingly. That's what's appropriate and what's right. There's some very good agreements that's been out there, whether it's with the European Union, the United Kingdom, with Japan, with South Korea. We need to continue to have more of those agreements. We need markets to open because 96%, Joe, of the world's consumers are outside of the United States. It's important that we have open markets and that we're all being treated fairly.